Fortunately, at least our news afternoon is produced inside the building, and so that won't be rained off, and that begins at 1:05. Until then, sadly...
Just on the third test from Peter West.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Oval, which is a hive of activity at the moment in the middle, and things are looking considerably brighter. I won't say the sun's shining, but it's not raining.
But I've come down because the viewers said, would I come and say a very sad but fond farewell to you on behalf of all the viewers, because sadly this is going to be maybe the last time we shall see you, commentating at the Oval.
Well, it will be, Brian, yes. It would have been nice if the sun had shone and we'd had a nice dramatic finish, wouldn't it? But there we are, you can't have everything.
Why a young chap like you retiring? I mean, how many tests have you done?
I suppose it's about 150 plus. Many of them in the old days with you, of course, because you...
When did we start together? What, in the 50s?
Well, you started television before I did. Yeah. I was doing sound radio in the late 40s. Yeah. And the first test match we did was at Old Trafford in 1952, England against India, and Fred Truman bowled down the gale and worked up a furious pace. And the Indians were a bit put out by that, and I don't blame them. I'd have been well back to square leg myself.
And that's when we had the scaffold. Remember, we had to climb up there, and the great sight was to see Jim Swanton and dear old Roy Webber climb up. And
that's right.
Roy Webber very big, and Swanton not small.
Well, that's indeed, but it was essential ballast, wasn't it? Kept the whole thing from rocking too much.
Yes, it used to sway until they got there, and then it was steady for the rest of the day.
That's right.
A bit different nowadays. How many cameras have you got now?
Oh my giddy aunt, that's a difficult question to ask.
Do you have 6 or something? Or?
I think for test matches we now have 7 or 8. I know that we used to have 3, or even less, maybe even 2. Yeah. And of course there were no zoom lenses, there were no recordings, no replays.
No replays on it at all?
No, Anthony Craxton used to be our producer in those days. I wonder if he's looking in now. He used to do all the royal occasions and the Abbey things. He did them with some ease.
He used to pick up all the sort of funny things which were happening around the ground, which were rather fun in those days. We used to have, remember people at 7 Fox Road at Trent Bridge? They used to come out and about and wave. We used to carry on a conversation.
That's right, and all in black and white too, yes.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Mm. And have you got any particular one here at the Oval? Which one did we do here?
Oh,
a lot of them.
The test match in 53.
Right.
England against Australia, and we haven't won the Ashes since 34.
19 years ago.
That's right, we won them, didn't we? Jardine won them back the Bodyline series, and then Australia came here in 34. Yeah. And they held on to them right through till 1953 when Lindsay Hassett, captain of the side, little Lindsay Hassett, that lovely wry humour.
And he brought himself on the bell when they just needed whatever it was, 6 runs.
But Arthur Morris bowled the last over, and Dennis Compton was down that far end with dear Bill Edrich, who's no longer with us. Right. And you were doing the commentary. I was a bit annoyed about that. It's just your luck to get the last.
For you to finish your stint so that I could be on.
You got it, that's right. It was just the timing. And Dennis made the winning hit down towards the gas holder. And the crowd rushed onto the ground.
All I said was, it's the Ashes, and we were speechless.
Yes, I hope you're on good repeat fee for that. It's been shown a time or two. one and tuppence halfpenny to be, actually.
Yeah, and funny enough, so was Arthur Morris, because he never bowled normally, but they used to show this picture in all the shops they're trying to sell television, and he was the most televised bowler of all time. He's very proud of that always.
Yes, I'm just saying to you on radio that I think Malcolm Nash would like to be on 10% of the repeats of the over that Gary Sobers took 36 off it.
Then, you've written a book called Flannel Fool and Muddy Dope, which about describes it, I think.
Thanks very much. Well, I thought Rudyard Kipling had got it right, you see.
Yeah. It was a good quote. How do you find that? Do you normally read Kipling?
Not regularly. But can I give you the full quotation?
Yes.
Then ye returned from your trinkets, then ye contented your souls with the muddied oafs, with the flannel fools at the wicket, and the muddied oafs at the goals. Well, if you're a nutcase on cricket and rugby, as I've been unrepentantly all my life, Brian, I thought it wasn't a bad title for an autobiography.
Someone asked me once what I thought of Kipling. I said I never tried it, but I didn't know what it
yeah, that reminds me of Oscar Wilde, but we better not do that here.
You come to the rugger side of it then. That was your other passion, rugby.
Yes, I was mad keen on rugby. I had ambitions to make something of myself as a rugby player, but I got back trouble when I was 16, and that rather put the cat amongst the pigeons, and I had to play my last game of rugby when I was just about 19 or 20, and I couldn't bear to go and watch my contemporaries play for a bit. I was really so desperately upset about it, but life has its compensation, so that in the end I decided that I've got to stay close to sport. So I became a reporter for a London agency, the Exchange Telegraph, and it was while I was doing that job that I met C.B. Fry in the press box.
Great C.B. Fry.
That's right, and he pointed me in the way of sound radio at a time when they were looking just after the war for one or two new voices, and this is a great stroke of luck. So the compensation was that I've been able to stay close to cricket and rugby and many other things for all my working life.
And people always ask me in their show, how good were you at cricket and how good at rugby? And we're never modest on the air, so don't be modest. I mean, would you have been a good cricketer but for the back trouble? You used to play for me, even with the back trouble you were pretty good.
Yes, I did. I think that I would never have been better than a useful club player. I think I had the shots, but not the concentrations or patience. I used to get myself out. I like to think I could have made the grade at rugby, but this I shall never know. It's difficult looking at me now, I know.
No. I'm sure you're a nice little fly half and you would have made your openings like Cliff Morgan. I'm sure you would.
Oh, not quite like Twinkle Toes Cliff Morgan.
Now, in the book again, you list the number of sports you did. I didn't add them up. How many other sports you've done on telly?
I've done over 30. But in those days, in the old days, no. In the old days, if you were an outside broadcast professional, I think it wasn't a specialised era like now, and you could turn your hand to anything. And if you were a freelance with one wife and 3 children to support, it was you didn't turn down the offer of doing it.
What were the difficult ones? I mean, you did all sorts of things that you didn't necessarily know a lot about.
Well, yes, fencing, for instance. I mean, that's a very esoteric pursuit, but I always made damn sure if I was doing Olympic Games fencing, I had an expert sitting right beside me to help read me through it. Cycling, when they all come down the finish, well, about 500 of them together.
Yeah, but they're still for a long time. They stay after the
Oh, that's a sprint, isn't it? Yes, that's not quite so difficult.
Did you know about that?
No, not a lot. But the Benny Foster was great help to me on cycling. I've had lots of good chums. I can remember where was it? No, Munich. I'd been out at the rowing during the day for television, and I came back thinking, well, I'll have a good dinner and a few gin and tonics or a bottle of claret or something like that. And Alan Hart was in editorial charge. He said, Westy, when I turned up at base, he said, we've just won 2 judo medals. He said, you're putting a live commentary, dubbed commentary on it in 20 minutes. I thought,
you get out your book,
God,
judo,
awful, yes. Thank God, a chap called John Goodbody, who used to write for the old London Evening News, was there. And he was able to help read me through it. And I came back and all my chums said, my God, you know your judo, don't you?
You threw it away rather. I just came back from rowing, so you did rowing as well.
Yes, well, yes, I did. I did rowing at several Olympic Games. I wasn't an oarsman at all. But basically, even though not being an expert, I think rowing, provided you can get the sequence right, who's winning, who's second, who's third, whatnot. Mind you, that's not so easy on a 2,000-metre course when if a British crew is not doing very well and the home cameras are concentrating only on the leaders, and here you had somebody yelling in your luck, oh, tell us about Britain, tell us about Britain, you can't even see them on your screen about 1,500 metres away.
In, out and all that. Like
and like John Snag about the boat race. I can't think who's winning. It's either Oxford or Cambridge. Yes.
You talked then about but just explain to the viewers, they may have heard before, what it's like, what we call dirty talkback. I mean, you've stuck it for years now, this little thing in your ear, and people are talking to you while you're describing what's happened during the day.
Yes, it's this little thing. People think I'm hard of hearing. A lot of them do. Yeah, I can't hear you. No, well, if I put this in now, you see, there, I mean, normally I work this way, you see, so you can't see it. Yeah. But you've come in on the wrong side of me, taking me unawares.
Well, we thought it was your best side.
My best side, right. You've got about 6 minutes left. Have you got a deaf aid in?
No.
I'll hand on the messages from my producer, all right?
I'm getting instructions.
Oh, I see, from up there. Yes, so we lead a sort of Jekyll and Hyde existence, because say that I'm interviewing you, and I'm listening to my producer, Keith Mackenzie, saying, well, keep it going for a few minutes because we don't know whether the umpires are coming out or when they're going to resume, and we might go into a bit of what we call VT, recording, etc., etc. And it becomes quite interesting at the close of play at the end of the day because you never know when the last over is going to finish, and then you've got to get a lot in the last few minutes. Yes, it is. It's a funny sort of life.
You're getting the wind up and the sort of, the cut across the thread. They still do that, do they?
They still do that. Like Steve and Nick, the SMs, just hovering off. Yeah, come on, we have to go. Come on, it's my last match. Come on. Now these two chaps, you see, too.
Now the chaps who look after you.
Absolutely, marvellous, yes. Very good bar waiters they are.
Did you notice one of them, I don't know if you've seen it, was crawling along the ground just now. So
I noticed that. I didn't know quite what was going on.
He was sniffing around like a dog. Now, the viewers, again, wouldn't forgive me if I didn't ask you about Come Dancing, but you...
Did you have to bring that up?
Well, listen, you aren't as ashamed as that.
No, of course not. No, I'm not. I had 15 happy years with Come Dancing. I got into it by accident. Barry Edgar was producing the Midland end of it, a very old chum of both of us.
Yeah.
The doyen of the
That's
producers
right,
in
yeah.
Birmingham television was.
I keep
Superman,
recalling
lovely
Bruce Edgar
professional,
Barry,
never
this
flat,
Blackman
great
man.
chap. He rang me up one day and he said, come and do this. He said, what do you know about dancing? I said, sweet F. Adams, you see. And so I had a gin and tonic, and the second year we won it. And then he got promoted to take charge of the whole thing. And he said, well, I've had to put up with you at Midland, you better come and do the whole shooting match. And it went on year after year, and then Philip Lewis came in to produce it.
You look knowledgeable at it. I mean,
I didn't, but I did know my, you got 4 minutes, you know that I just heard you. So it went on for 15 years, and yes, people said to me, how do you manage as a rugby chap to do that? And I said, well, why do you think the dancing fraternity are lovely people should put up with a muddy dope like me? So I have no regrets whatever, happy times, and I'm sorry I was a bit of a fraud because my wife always wears shin pads, but there we are.
But they never got you on the floor in vision, did they? Or
Not often, just once or twice with Judy Chalmers, with whom I worked. Lovely professional,
that
super person.
loudspeaker reminds me of something, the famous time when you were interviewing someone and you were drowned by it.
That's right.
What was the interview?
Bill Alley and I think Tom Spencer, and it made the Sports Review of the Year.
Yeah.
There it is, we were just under there, and I think I said something like, Bill, I said, we're having a spot of bother here, and that was it.
Knowing Bill Alley, it's probably just as well that his words were drowned out, because dear old Bill's fairly good with his language.
Oh, indeed. Wind him up and you'll talk for about 20 minutes, won't you? Great man.
Just tell us, old Arlo, when he retired, has never been back to a test match. We've tried to get him. Will you come back and watch?
Certainly I will. Of course I will. Not every day, but I shall come, yes, certainly. I don't want to miss the companionship and all the friends I've made in cricket. And in rugby too. I'm not going to stop working entirely. I hope to do the odd thing if invited. I'm perfectly prepared to black my face and appear on Scunthorpe Pier with you, Johnston, if you invite me.
Kind of you. But a young chap like you, I mean, you're not going to put your feet up in front of the log fire, because Princess Michael told me the other day you joined her down in Gloucestershire. Is that right?
Oh, well, I did drop my visiting card in. No, we...
very regal down there now.
We moved down to Gloucestershire about 3 years and a bit ago.
Yeah.
And we're surrounded by our family and grandchildren. It's a lovely neck of the woods. I still retain my original allegiance for Kent, obviously brought up on Stump Ainsbold, Freeman and Frank Woolley. But what a super
which
cricket county
side are you
group.
going to go and watch? I mean, with Bristol or Gloucester?
Well, all three. Bath, who are of course top of the heap at the moment, aren't they? Having a great time. Bristol and Gloucester. Kingsholm's only 20 minutes down the road, and I always seem to get a welcome there. I love going to all those three grounds. It's super.
And in the garden, are you a planter? I'm a weeder, destroyer, and a mower. What are you?
Well, I'm a very ignorant but very fanatical gardener. And I'm far too mean to go and buy plants from the garden centre if I can avoid it. So I buy little packets of seeds for about 40p. And if I've got time, I try and I get a great thrill out of seeing them grow and then bedding them out. And I've got a very fine show of Gadisha, Antirrhinum and Echium at the moment. Of course, you're familiar with
I've got to
Echium.
attempt the accent of all those, but you do very well with them.
Yeah.
And just one final thing, of all the people, is there anyone you haven't interviewed you'd have liked to from the sporting world?
Yes, Don Bradman.
You never did?
Never. Nick Hunter, my producer, I've worked with him in one capacity or another. God bless him, and he might be looking now. Good times, Nick. Thanks a lot, mate. And may I say also, it's been a great joy to be associated with such a professional team on the cricket. Super. Nick Hunter has been working on Dob Bradman, trying to get us to get an interview with him. We were even prepared to fly out to Australia to do it.
Yeah.
But he won't do it, and I think it's such a shame because how much of interest to the cricket world throughout the globe he would have to say, and he's always said no. So we've really given up trying.
Well, we've come to what's called the close of play, so a very sad farewell. Very good luck to you, and I enjoyed my time working with you. We had a lot of fun. Hope you have a lot of fun in the future.
Enjoyed working with you, Brian, always. God bless you.
Bye-bye, Western.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
No, I think you take over now.
What do I do now? I'm not quite sure. Oh, we're going outside, the producer tells me. We've had no news from the umpires, Brian. It's still raining. This match is teetering to a dreadful anticlimax. I don't think in this light and in this damp we're going to get any further action today. And even if we do, we can't possibly get any other result but a draw. And so in due course we'll be congratulating New Zealand on the first Test Series victory they've ever had in this country. We'll keep you in touch, but write let's go to another record.